The wrong place at the right time. The ISV Cashin drifted through the Korvath expanse, a stretch of space so quiet even the background radiation seemed to hold its breath. Captain Ren Maddox sipped his coffee, finally at the right temperature, and stared at the star map projected on the briefing table. The Cashin had been assigned to chart the outer rim of the Antaresar system, but after their last encounter with the Lathians, Maddox had taken a slight detour, just to see if anyone else out here was playing by rules that weren't written in Lathian administrative prose. Yara Osai, arms crossed, leaned against the console. "We're drifting off mission again, Captain." Maddox grinned. "We're exploring." "There's a difference." Ham Calloway, who had been elbow-deep in the engine's plasma regulator, wiped his hands on his jumpsuit and sauntered in. Exploring. Just a fancy word for lost, but too stubborn to ask for directions. Sable Vin, the Varani trade specialist, looked up from her datapad. The Lathians would call this inefficient. Cass, the Gassic observer, hummed a low-frequency pulse from their corner, something between agreement and amusement. Maddox ignored them all. "We're not lost, we're..." The Cashin's proximity, alarms screeched. Yara's fingers flew over the console. Unidentified vessel, bearing 277 Mark 9. No transponder signal, no registry match. Ham squinted at the scan. "That's not a merchant ship. That's a mess." The vessel on the screen was a cobbled-together monstrosity. A freighter's hull welded to what looked like military-grade thrusters, with weapon ports jury-rigged into the plating. It bristled with antennae, scavenged shields, and what might have been a repurposed mining laser. Maddox exhaled. "Pirates." Ham rubbed his hands together. "Oh, good. I was starting to miss being shot at." The comms channel crackled open before Maddox could even reach for it. A voice, rough and amused, filled the bridge. "Well, well, look what the Void coughed up. A shiny little ISV toy all alone out here." The screen flickered to life, revealing the pirate captain, a hulking figure with iridescent, chitinous plates running along their arms and a grin full of too many teeth. Behind them, the bridge was a chaos of mismatched species. A four-armed Orani fiddling with a console, a hunched Muvari with feathers ruffled in what might have been irritation, and a human, lean, scarred, and currently cleaning a pistol with a rag. Maddox leaned forward, all easy charm. "Greetings, Captain Ren Maddox of the ISV Cashin. We're on a diplomatic mission." The pirate captain barked a laugh. "Diplomatic? Boy, you're either the worst liar I've met this cycle or the best. Either way, you're in our space now." Ham muttered, "Our space? Sure, like they filed a claim with the Galactic Registry." Maddox kept smiling. "We didn't realize this sector was claimed. Our records show it as uncharted." The pirate, Captain Vex of the Rem Maw, leaned in. "Uncharted means up for grabs, sweetheart. And right now, you're the grabby." Sable, ever the diplomat, stepped forward. "Perhaps we could discuss this over a trade agreement. We have." "We don't trade, darling," Vex said. "We take." They tapped the console. "Scan says you're carrying something interesting in your hold. Hand it over and we'll let you limp away with your dignity. Most of it anyway." Maddox exchanged a glance with Yara. The Cashin's hold contained standard diplomatic supplies, a crate of Garenyan wine for emergencies, and the Antaresar data crystals, which were absolutely not something they wanted pirates knowing about. Ham, ever helpful, called out, "Aye, we've got wine, but it's ours." Vex's grin widened. "Wine? How quaint." Their eyes flicked to something off-screen. "Boys, looks like we've got ourselves a negotiation." The comms cut out. Yara's voice was tight. They're powering weapons. Maddox sighed. Of course they are. The Rem Moor's first volley slammed into the Kashan's shields. The bridge lurched. Ham whooped. Oh, they're serious. Sable gripped her console. They're not scanning for wine. Maddox barked orders. Yara evasive. Ham, get me everything you can on their weapons signature. Sable, see if you can. They're hailing again, Yara snapped. Vex's face was back, but the grin was gone. Last chance, diplomat. Hand over the Lathian tech, or we start carving pieces off your ship. Silence. Maddox blinked. Lathian what? Vex's eyes narrowed. Don't play dumb. We know you've got it. The cargo. Ham, still scanning, muttered. Oh, that's rich. Maddox kept his voice smooth. Captain Vex, I assure you, we're not carrying any Lathian. Liar. Vex's voice was a snarl. We tracked a Lathian relay signature on your tail 2 systems back. You're running their errands, and we want what you're carrying. The Kashan crew exchanged glances. Sable's voice was low. They think we're Lathian couriers. Ham groaned. Oh, that's brilliant. We're about to get blown apart because some backwater pirates think we're lettuce delivery boys. Maddox pinched the bridge of his nose. Captain Vex, I swear on my ship's reactor, we're not carrying Lathian tech. We're explorers, diplomats. Vex's laugh was a razor. Diplomats don't get chased by Lathian filaments. They leaned in. Last. Chance. Maddox opened his mouth. And the Rem Moor fired again. The battle was short, brutal, and evenly matched. The Kashan's adaptive shields held, barely, against the Rem Moor's scavenged plasma cannons. Ham jury-rigged a feedback pulse into their comms array, frying the pirates, targeting for 12 glorious seconds. Yara piloted like she was dancing with the void itself, weaving through asteroid debris, while Sable attempted to reason with Vex over comms, which went about as well as reasoning with a hurricane. Cass, meanwhile, pulsed quietly in his corner, absorbing data. And then, they're trying to board us, Ham yelled. Maddox gritted his teeth. Sable, now would be a great time for that Varani charm. Sable didn't hesitate. She opened a channel, not to Vex, but to the human pirate on the Rem Moor's bridge. Hey, fellow human, she said, voice smooth as silk. You lot are about to get yourselves killed over a misunderstanding. The human pirate blinked. What? Your captain thinks we're Lathian. We're not. We're human. And unless you want the Lathians to notice a human ship getting blown up in their space, I'd suggest you reconsider. The pirate hesitated. Then, Vex, hold fire. Vex rounded on them. The hell. They're human, the pirate snapped. Vex froze. A beat. Then, well, shit. The Rem Moor and the Kashan hung in space, both battered, both mutually impressed. Vex, now slightly less homicidal, reclined in his chair. You're human. Maddox spread his hands. Last I checked. And you're not running Lathian errands. We're explorers, Maddox said. We explore. Sometimes we get shot at. Vex barked a laugh. Well, you're good at it. He leaned forward. All right, new deal. You don't tell anyone you saw us. We don't tell anyone we shot you, and we both walk away. Ham crossed his arms. In the part where you tried to rob us. Vex grinned. Consider it a cultural exchange. Sable stepped in. We'll also share coordinates for a neutral trade hub. No Lathians, good prices. Vex's eyes gleamed. Now that's a deal. Maddox nodded. Agreed. The pirates powered down their weapons. The Kashan's crew exhaled. And then... Oh, and diplomat, Vex called, just as the channel was closing. Maddox raised an eyebrow. Yes. Vex's grin was all teeth. Next time, bring the wine. The channel cut. Silence. Ham clapped his hands. Well, that could have gone worse. Yara groaned. How? They could have liked the wine. 3 hours later, As the Cashin limped toward the nearest repair station, Sable called Maddox to the comms room. "You should see this," she said, pointing at the screen. Maddox leaned in. The files they'd pulled from the REM Mars systems during the brief boarding attempt were partial, corrupted, but revealing. Unary Initiative, Sable read. Rogue collective, mostly pirates, scavengers, and former Lathian assets. She scrolled. Their manifest wasn't Lathian tech, it was stolen Lathian data. Maddox's stomach dropped. What kind of data? Sable's voice was grim. The kind the Lathians really don't want getting out. Ham, peering over her shoulder, whistled. "Well, that's not our problem." Maddox looked at the screen, at the symbols, the coordinates, the half-decoded logs. "Not yet," he said. But the REM Ma was already gone. And the Lathians. The Lathians were always watching.